Hey everybody, you're playing Remnant 2 and we are working on this boss fight, the Astropath. Okay, so I just want to walk you guys through this. I'm going to stick through the entire boss fight and just kind of call out some of the issues that we ran into while fighting this boss. First things first, the critical is going to be that glowing orb in the middle of its chest or in its stomach area. So shooting that's going to give you the most damage, and the biggest issue with this boss is going to be its secondary form. So the first form is its skeleton, but the secondary form is an orb in the middle. You can do damage to it, and you're going to have to get it to stop being an orb and go back to being a skeleton. Vice versa, you're going to have to shoot the skeleton to get it to move to the middle, turn into an orb, and then do damage that way. So you're pushing through here, just going back and forth with the skeleton showing up, swiping at you, and almost killing you, and then turning into an orb and shooting out those pulses. So occasionally it will spawn some additional mini skeletons for you to fight. I would recommend taking those out as soon as possible because they do become a bit of an annoyance. Once the boss gets down to about 60% health, it's going to disappear, the room will go dark, and all of these skeletons will start popping up out of the ground. They do not move throughout the air, so you are going to have to shoot them inside the ground, and you're going to have to get rid of them before the main boss comes back. So you're going to fight all these guys. Ammo was a bit of an issue here, but those mini bosses and those mini skeletons are going to give you ammo when you kill them, so not too bad. But again, kill all of the extra skeletons that appear, and then you can go back to fighting the boss. All in all, to be completely honest, the skeleton really wasn't my problem. The biggest issue that myself and my teammates had was the sphere thing here. So there are two attacks with the sphere. It's that pulsation from the center outward, and then it's these cones of light, these beams that shoot out. So either situation, you can dodge both of those attacks, but you're better off probably just standing in the middle of those cones of light so that you can continue to shoot and you don't get distracted with dodging too much. This sphere will also spawn skeletons like the main boss will. So again, regardless of where these additional skeletons are coming from, you're going to want to take them out first before you continue doing damage to the boss. Just to reiterate, you are going to have to continue to do damage until the sphere turns back into a skeleton and vice versa. And that's what it looks like when you get hit with those beams of light. We are doing this on nightmare mode, so it is a little more difficult. But regardless, you can dodge the pulsation attack, and you can dodge or stand in between those cones or beams of light from the sphere. Again, back to the skeleton, not too difficult. You're just dodging a lot here. Try to keep your distance from the skeleton. It will swipe at you if it gets close enough, so you don't want it to get too close to you. Those smaller skeletons are a little bit faster. They will come at you a little bit harder. For the most part, like every other boss, they're essentially focusing on one person at a time, so this is beneficial to have co-op in your corner. But you're really just going back and forth. Skeleton sphere, and that pulsation attack was what got most of us the majority of the time, having to do this over and over again. We want to get these skeletons out of the way so that we can focus on dodging and shooting the center again. That's what the dodge looks like for the pulsation. That's what it looks like when you don't dodge. But we have the skeleton back now, and Dougie and I are both down. Now, just as a side note, a bit of a tangential, Drunken Genius is coming into the boss fight just now. This is a bit of a tactic in co-op where one person goes in and sees how far they can get the boss's health down. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it or not recommend it. Just throwing it out there is a bit of a tactic. So Drunken Genius actually came in and saved the day here. Rather, my dog picked me up, but he got Dougie up, so that's good. And we're just kind of getting a little overwhelmed now with the additional skeleton that's popped out, because there were only two and now there are three because Drunk is in this fight now. But again, rolling through those beams of light, those cones, beams, and rolling through that pulsation attack successfully, mind you, not like I did just there. Just to recap real quick for you though, since we're almost done here. So this boss fight is the Astropath. He is a giant skeleton. He will turn into an orb in the center. The orb does the cone laser beams as well as a pulsation attack. There are many skeletons all around. You're going to want to take out the mini enemies first and then continue on the boss. And about 60% of the boss's health at that point. The room will go dark, skeletons will pop up out of the ground, but that's really the only caveat to this boss fight. Now, again, this orb was the most difficult part, and if you can see there where it's sort of flashing and pulsating in the middle, you want to dodge right after that. So that is right here, this is the indication that it's about to send out that pulsation, and you want to roll through it. So 2 successful dodges there, as you saw. We got to go pick up our teammates so that we don't accidentally die here with only about 5 or 10% of the boss's health left. Gonna make sure everybody's up. We have our dogs, we have our medics here. So those were our 2 archetypes we were dealing with, and for me, those were the 2 best in the game, pushing through these without getting too many of the secret archetypes. But I digress. The boss is almost done here. It really is just a matter of between being a skeleton and an orb doing as much damage as possible. Just like every other boss in the game though, once you defeat the boss, the other enemies will also die. So if you see that he has a sliver of health left, just like this, we want to go ahead and just take him out so none of the other enemies remain. But that really wasn't a big deal for us. Just again, another caveat here. Once you defeat the enemy, you're going to get this Seeker residue, which gives you a Helix mod for your guns. It shoots a helix of missiles, dealing 120 damage. So, pretty good. I didn't use it personally, but hopefully this helps you guys out. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you next time.